The Iron Giant, the robot born a villain but died a hero. A robot inspired by heroism and learned not to be a gun despite being born as one. So, let's take a look. Also, like, share, and hit the bell. It will greatly help the channel. From what we can gather, the Iron Giant began his existence as an alien war machine in the film's haunting dream sequence. We see glimpses of his original mission: invade, destroy, and conquer. He's equipped with overwhelming firepower, enough to level armies, and even a nuclear explosion can't fully destroy him. The dream also suggests Earth wasn't his first target. He's done this before. Entire planets may have fallen under his reign. But the Giant isn't just a brute force machine who goes in with lasers and destroys everything. In his earliest scenes, he rotates his head from the back to the front, showing that he observes where he is. He's powerful, but he's also curious. And then everything changes. While eating metal, he is electrocuted. His memory is wiped. The weapon forgets its purpose. What emerges after the memory loss is not a monster, it's a child made of metal with unimaginable destructive potential, but a child nonetheless. He copies behaviors, he explores, he looks at Hogarth with wide-eyed curiosity, and when he accidentally breaks the train tracks, Hogarth tells him to fix them. The Giant doesn't understand why, he doesn't understand what he did wrong, but he sees Hogarth's distress, and he tries anyway, even as the train barrels towards him. This moment reveals something crucial. He was never inherently evil, he was simply following orders. Everything he once did, every planet he may have destroyed, was because someone told him to, and he obeyed. When Hogarth brings the Giant home after the accident, their relationship deepens. Hogarth treats him not as a weapon, but as a person. He shows him comic books, magazines, and heroes like Superman, and with his natural curiosity, the Giant absorbs it all. This is where something awakens in him: empathy. Whoever created him likely gave him the ability to learn and adapt so he could conquer more efficiently, but Hogarth uses the same ability to teach him compassion. Hogarth unlocks an empathetic mindset that the Giant's creator likely never intended. Think about it. His creators probably kept him in a dark vault, giving him strict directives to adapt and conquer. Hogarth gives him a soul. Hogarth doesn't just give him orders, he explains, he comforts, he connects, and the Giant mirrors that connection. Whether this empathy was always inside him or he was learning and observing Hogarth is unclear. I argue it's the latter. His advanced AI was meant to learn and adapt to conquer, and it would be inefficient for him to have developed a conscience by whoever created him. But because this new master was a kind-hearted kid, he adapted to his kindness instead. Though there is one more factor that could explain his behavior, but more on that later. Hogarth says,
"You're a good guy. Like Superman."
This is also important as, once again, he is a robot designed to follow orders as given and adapt and wonder. He first spots a robot that's similar to him called Atomo, the Metal Menace, but Hogarth just briefly mentions him, and he goes into detail with him about Superman instead, saying he is just like him, someone from outer space who crash lands on Earth, not knowing his purpose, and because of this, the Iron Giant connects with him more. He begins to understand right and wrong, not because he was programmed to, but because he feels it. As the Giant spends more time with Hogarth and Dean, he experiences joy for the first time. He laughs, he plays, and he imitates Hogarth's actions. He begins to see Hogarth not just as a guide, but as a role model, almost a new master, partly because Hogarth shows authority, and partly because the Giant is developing new feelings he has never experienced before. These feelings are comforting and meaningful to him, and he chooses to keep following Hogarth in hopes of understanding them better. Then comes the moment with the deer. The Giant sees a deer killed by hunters. The sight of the lifeless body triggers something deep inside him, his old programming. His eyes turn red at the sight of the gun. He isn't just affected because he now cares for living things. The moment also stirs memories of his past and the violence he was built for. This is reinforced later in his dream sequence, where he remembers where he came from. The feelings he has now makes moments like this traumatic. He may have caused similar deaths before, but at the time, he never questioned it. Now with Hogarth's guidance, he understands what killing actually means. Hogarth then explains that killing is wrong, but dying isn't. He tells the giant that he has thoughts and feelings, and that means he has a soul, and souls don't die. This idea stays with the giant and shapes the choices he makes afterwards. But things hit rock bottom when they are just playing. A toy gun triggers his defense systems, and he nearly kills Hogarth. In that moment, Dean calls him what he fears most, a gun. The giant flees, convinced he can never be anything more than the weapon he was built to be. But can a gun choose not to fire? The giant flees in shame. Dean called him a gun, and for the first time, the giant believed it. He felt trapped by his own design, convinced that no matter how much he liked Superman, he was built for slaughter, built to be Otamo, the Metal Menace. But independence often starts in the darkest moments. While alone and hiding, he sees two boys dangling from a balcony. He doesn't wait for an order. He doesn't check a manual. He moves. He saves them. And for the first time, the town of Rockwell doesn't see him as a monster. They see him as a savior. When he reunites with Hogarth, he says with newfound confidence,
"I am not a gun."
Despite saving lives, the military attacks him again. They see only the weapon he used to be, not the person he's becoming. Forced to flee, the giant crash lands and finds Hogarth unconscious, though he believes he is dead. This emotional breaking point, the one person who saw him as more than a machine, the one person who taught him empathy, joy, and morality, is suddenly gone. The grief triggers his original programming. This is where another theory comes in. His creators may have programmed a form of consciousness in him, including the capacity for rage and anger. Not simply so he could follow orders, but so he could hate his enemies. It's a common tactic in war, indoctrinate the soldier, so they don't question destruction. His creators may have done this to prevent him from becoming too single-minded, while also ensuring he would direct hatred towards designated targets. Hogarth wakes up and finds the giant mid-rampage. He runs to him, not afraid, but determined. He reminds him of the truth.
And you don't have to be a gun. You are what you choose to be. You choose. Choose.
Oh God.
This makes him stop despite remembering his true purpose. The new feelings he's developed made him override that mission, since he's given the opportunity to choose. Just when peace seems possible, Mansley panics and orders the launch of a nuclear missile. The missile locks onto the giant's location, right above the town. If it hits, everyone will die. Hogarth looks at him with fear, not of the giant, but of the situation. And the giant understands instantly. He remembers Hogarth's lesson. It's bad to kill, it's not bad to die. Souls don't die. And he might have remembered how he felt when Hogarth was gone. He refuses to let himself feel that pain again when he can do something about it. He looks at Hogarth one last time and repeats the words,
You stay. I go. No following.
He flies into the sky, flying for the first time with a purpose, not as a weapon, but as a guardian. As he approaches the missile, he closes his eyes and whispers the word that symbolizes everything he has chosen to become: Superman. The explosion lights up the sky. The weapon is gone, but the hero remains. Rockwell honors him with a statue. But the giant gets the last laugh. Because he is a machine that can self-repair, we see his pieces trekking across the ice towards his head in the North Pole. He survived the explosion, but more importantly, his soul survived the programming. He lives not as a conqueror, not as a machine, but as the person he chooses to be. Thanks for watching.